Hello and thank you for joining us today for our webinar about MSc Applied Data Science and Engineering, or ADSE for short, at Glasgow Caledonian University. We're joined today by Charlie Russell, Associate Dean International, who will give us an overview of GCU, followed by Octavian Niculita, Programme Leader for MSc ADSE, who will go into more detail about the programme and the learning experience. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat box on screen as we go along, and we'll pick those up. Without any further ado, I'll hand you straight over to Charlie.
Thanks very much, Jenny. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you this afternoon. Thank you very much for attending. My name is Charlie Russell. I'm the Associate Dean for International in the School of Computing, Engineering and Built Environment. And it's really my pleasure to be here with my colleague Octavian Niculita this afternoon, who's going to be really going into some detail about the Applied Data Science and Engineering program at master's level that we have. So I'm going to go through a bit of a general thing, because you're going to be coming to Glasgow, and in Glasgow we call Glasgow our dear green place, and it's our dear green place because it's a city that has an enormous number of parks and green spaces. It was originally a very industrialized city, and it's known for its shipbuilding and lots of heavy industry, and its trading with North America. So there's a lot of really beautiful buildings in the city, including the one that you can see in the top left, which is our city chambers, the Glasgow City Chambers, which is a very extravagant and lavish building, and definitely worth a visit when you're here. Since the sort of decline of shipbuilding in the 70s and 80s, Glasgow's reinvented itself, and now we're very much an education and entertainment and retail and indeed banking area. So we do have a large number of different industries that have come in to replace those heavy industries. But it's a great place for entertainment. Lots of big concerts come here. It's a fun place to be in and enjoy all the different restaurants and cafes and the nightlife that it offers. We're also very close to the Highlands, the Southern Highlands, so you can really do anything here. So I'm going to jump into our campus. So this is a picture of the front of our university campus. As you can see, we're a modern university. The university does date back, but it formed as a university in 1992 by amalgamating two different colleges, Glasgow Technical College and another one. And we have really a very nice compact campus right in the city centre of Glasgow, very close to the railway station and bus station, so you can get anywhere within really a 2-minute walk from our campus to anywhere in Scotland, because the bus station is literally across the road. So it's a nice, vibrant campus. It's been upgraded quite a bit. It's a lot of public space. There's a lot of amenities on the campus, and it's just a nice place to be. Just about the university, we're the top performing modern university in Scotland, and in 2023, and the second top in the United Kingdom. So we perform really, really well. And we actually ranked 40th out of 122 universities in the whole of the UK by the very reputable Guardian University Guide just this September. So we're the top modern university for research as well. 72% of our research is world leading or internationally excellent. And we have at the heart of our research and our teaching is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So we're also very well known for our high graduate employment rates. Over 91% of our graduates, especially in our school, find employment straight after completing, or they go into further study. We have also a strong international relationships across the world. We have partnerships across the world, and we are very proud to be Athena Swan Silver Award holder in recognition of our commitment to gender equality. It's something that we have a leading role on in universities in Scotland and indeed in the UK. So it's made up of effectively 4 schools. The London campus is something a little bit separate, but we do deliver quite a lot of our master's programs into the London campus. So you can see Octavian is going to be talking about applied sciences, which is in our computing engineering built environment school. There's a lot of different facilities that we have on the campus for teaching and learning and being, practicing in the different fields that we operate in, from across the engineering disciplines and bioscience disciplines. We have some superb computer and data labs and really new suites. So it's a nice place to come and study and learn. These are a range of some of the other programs, just to give you a sense of the other programs that we operate. So there's a thriving postgraduate community in our school, but also across the university. So you're part of a larger community, and you probably mix and match with many other students from around the world from different disciplines, which also adds to the educational experience. We're professionally accredited by many different accrediting professional bodies, and that's something that all the programs are really supported with. So very important aspect, and it does support the professionality of our degrees, and something that our graduates rave about. Actually, I think it's a really good thing. So we're proud that we keep that in place. We have a number of research centres also in the school, so including climate justice, built environment, asset management, and smart technologies. So there's a lot of different applications into the research field, and a lot of our teaching is supported from research that's been directly done in the university. So we've got all of that also going on. Student support element is very strong at the university. It's one of our kind of key selling points, as we'd say. We have very strong academic support. The academic staff are very approachable. We have an excellent library that's both online and hard copy books and journals. It's a superb space to work in and get really good support from that. And we have our learning development centre, which is really for support and anything from English language writing to anything around any numerical skills or any other skills presentation that you might need. We also have a very strong IT provision of support. So there's personal support as well. Pastoral care is something we have high on our agenda across the university staff at Glasgow Caledonian. And we also have very much a health and well-being consideration. So we have a strong department that supports our students with their health and well-being. And finally, career development, which we have a careers services, which is very, very strong in supporting students in finding their careers. We support them with their personal skills. We have an on-campus work experience hub, and we also have a series of tools that we offer our students, interactive tools online, covering letter, CV builder, all these kind of things that you need to have ready when you're going to be market ready for the job market. Interview simulator. We have company directories. A lot of us have direct links into companies. And furthermore, we have practice and psychometric and aptitude tests, which our students also find very useful, because that's something that most employers are applying these days. We have student accommodation. This is our own accommodation, the Caledonian Court. It's a modern facility just across the road from the campus, so it's very, very close by. Plenty of accommodation there. It's clean and well managed. There's also other private accommodation as well. So it's very convenient. And as I say, this is close to the city centre, so you're right close to where all the action's happening in Glasgow. And if you want to go a little bit further abroad from Glasgow, because it's a beautiful country, Edinburgh is just an hour away by train, even less than that. There's a lot of different cultural activities that go on in Scotland, from different kinds of sports events to the arts and cultural events that you might have heard about, pipe band competitions and what have you. But there's beautiful countryside really on your doorstep from Glasgow, and we really hope that you'll make the most of that while you're here. So with that, I really look forward to seeing you on campus when you join us. And with that, I will hand over to Octavian.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Octavian Niculita. I'm the program leader for the new MSc Applied Data Science in Engineering. I still call it new, just because it's a 1 year old. In November this year, we'll have the very first, or the students from the very first cohort graduating. I'm pleased to report that probably 3/4 of them were outstanding students. They work extremely hard, and some of them will finish with MSc with distinction, MSc with merit, a couple of MScs, and we still have a couple of students who still need to clear one or two modules. But more on that once you'll get to Glasgow, and we'll get the ball rolling for this program. So in today's presentation, I'll cover a couple of slides. Which should give you a rough idea how this all started. I'll cover the articulation of the rationale for this MSc in Applied Data Science in Engineering. I'll talk about the design process of the course. I'll cover some of the key modules and how they are delivered, and in order to meet the demand for the requirement for digital skills that was identified by the program team. Articulation of the curriculum, and probably I'll touch on an example on a project which was close to my heart, just because I supervise it, and the student had an interesting set of skills, and the project was delivered for an industrial partner in Glasgow. So more on that towards the end of this presentation. So in 2019, I was told to develop a program on predictive maintenance in the predictive maintenance space. And I strongly push back the idea, just because data, yes, can be applied to enhance the way systems, assets, plants, platforms, processes are maintained in order to optimize their availability. But this is not the entire story. So it only focuses at the end of the life cycle of a system or an asset. And after having a good number of discussions with people from industry, we all agreed that if I use one slide to describe what this program is about and what it should be about, is about complex systems, complex assets, typically expensive assets, high value assets, which these days are instrumented. And these are the assets that you see on the top right corner of this line. So majority of these complex systems these days come with sensors on board, sensors which are generating data that is being acquired, transferred, analyzed locally on the platform, or somewhere in an office, which can be on the other side of the world. And based on that analysis, which gives you an indication of the health status of the system, or of the equipment, or of the vehicle, or of the aircraft, or a wind turbine, you can take some informed decision in an operational control room, whether and how you should be running, and how you should be running that system, in order to improve or to meet certain levels of uptime, or certain level of effectiveness for that operational criteria. Using the very same information, the health status of the equipment, you need to, or you have the opportunity to run things behind the scene, and trigger various actions on the maintenance and logistics side of things. You might have to ship a part, and the people qualified to change that part on the other side of the world, or a particular location where the asset might be stuck, or might be at a specific point in time. Now, this sense acquired, transfer, analyze, and act is something that condition monitoring topic for the last 3 decades. You pick up any paper on this topic, and you'll find different elements of this sequence being discussed and addressed in more or less detail. What's not included is the instrumentation part of the bit of this process, which enables or engineering organizations to include part of the design process at the design process of an asset instrumentation, which is capable of triggering this sequence. Now, if we move on to the next slide, and if we talk about Industry 4.0 maturity levels, you might be seeing that up to Industry 3.0 was dealing with connectivity and introduction of computers in industry. As we're making the transition towards modern industrial systems, you start seeing the requirements for understanding what is happening, understanding why is something happening, um, ability to be prepared, what will happen and when. So you move into the predictability space, but also the capability to run autonomous assets and autonomous operations. Now, for this to happen, you need engineers and you need data science with who understand engineering and engineers who understand data science. So that's exactly what this program is meant to do. Now, data existed in various shapes or form in the engineering space for years. If I use Formula One as an example, been a good number of decades since they are running those cars at very high speed, and they are able using telemetry and data from board of those cars to take informed decision in real time to know how to run a specific race in order to win it and get on the podium. Truck manufacturers have sensors on board, and they are able to monitor how harsh the drivers are accelerating or braking on a lorry, which is directly impacting the fuel consumption. So you can develop a variety of analytics which are meant to enhance and optimize the fuel consumptions for a fleet operator. Healthcare, again, you have wearables and a lot of smart techniques coupled with the use of data science in the processing of images for diagnostic purposes and so on. Transportation, energy, oil and gas, agriculture, again, another couple of examples that I use and discuss in detail in the class, and how data is actually used in an engineering context for very specific purposes. Part of the design process of this course, we didn't just pick on what we had on the shelf already and rebadge it as a new MSc course in applied data science in engineering. We've been around the block a couple of times, in fact, for almost 2 years. We talked to people from industry, and you have on the left-hand side some examples in order to understand what sort of skills, digital engineering skills, they need for the graduates who are applying for various jobs they have advertised on a specific point in time. We also talk to governmental bodies with Centre of Engineering Education and Development, Scottish Manufacturing Advisory Service, Engineering, Scottish Engineering, National Manufacturing Institute for Scotland, but also Zero Waste Scotland, in trying to understand how what we are developing here fits into from a governmental perspective in an effort to make Scotland a fine place to study and a fine place to study so that you become relevant for industry, for the people on the left hand side. So in a nutshell, it was a course developed with industry for industry. I've captured here a couple of the requirements, and if I appreciate this is a busy slide and I don't particularly like it. It underpins the sequence that I was discussing earlier on: sense, acquire, transfer, analyze, and act or present. And four main requirements appeared on the agenda of almost every single industrial partner that we talk to. Engineering organization ranging from small size, medium size, but also large enterprises. They want graduates who are able to understand systems, understand their degradation. They want graduates who are capable of installing sensors or at least writing the specification for the sensor deployment. They want students who and graduates who are capable of understanding digital networking and various variants throughout the industry, but also data communication from the asset to a platform, to a cloud, from where you can pick up that data and do something with it. Moving into the capability of coding in Python, cleaning, classifying data using a variety of techniques, but also having some light understanding of data security. This is not an MSc that will make you an expert in data security, but you should have the vocabulary to understand the challenges presented posed by data security and the trustworthiness of a data-enabled solution, but also skills to implement data visualization and to present the data to the right customers in the right format. As a low-level shop floor technician might want to see very detailed information about the asset, while a top-line manager might only want to see the availability of all the assets on a particular fleet. So a mix of skills which transpired after discussions with a good number of people from the School of Computer Engineering and Built Environment. And you can see on the right-hand side the contributors from different departments. Software development for data science and data visualization being delivered by the Department of Computing. 4 modules: system health management, data capture, digital twins, and professional practice being delivered by the people from applying science. IoT framework informatics being delivered by a mixed team from electrical and electronic engineer and cybersecurity and networks, and predictive maintenance being closer to the mechanical systems and the way systems degrade being delivered by the mechanical engineering folks. We also have a project, a 3 month project at the end of these 2 trimesters, and majority of the project delivered by the students in the first cohort were attached to were done in collaboration with industry. I have one example at the end, as I said, so I'll skip that. I'll skip to that example in a second. In terms of assessment, we have a mix of written coursework, so you really need to brush your writing skills. As a professional engineer, you'll have to write very good reports for a particular customer or to report back to the rest of the team. We are being told by the engineering bodies that we need to develop candidates who are able to speak confidently on a technical subject. So you have a mix of oral presentation, a mix of group work coupled with group oral presentations, but also two exams. 2 of the modules will have some as an assessment form an exam. As I said, the project, it's an individual piece of work. It's done over 3 months, depending when you start this program over the summer or in the spring, unless no other delays appear on the radar during your particular timeline. But majority done in collaboration with an industrial partner. The project stresses a good part of this, the concepts learned on throughout the taught modules that were presented in the previous slide. Here's an example of an industry-led MSc project. Probably a couple of caveats. Um, I said at the beginning that we're trying to bring up engineers to understand data, but also the other way around, data scientists and computer science graduates. So people who have already good programming skills under their belt to understand assets and to understand systems and to apply those skills in an engineering environment. So here's an example of an industry-led MSc project. The candidate, the MSc student, had a first class degree in computer science, and he tackled this project successfully over 3 months in collaboration with an industrial partner, which makes these sort of very large blowers. So he was able to analyze data, um, come up with some very interesting findings on specific point in time for that data set that he was given by the industrial partner. I'm not going to go into the details. He applies some statistical process control charts, but also some dynamic, some exponentially weighted moving average SPC analysis. So you can see some of the snapshot of some of these results. So once again, this comes from a student who had a computer science background, but also he was capable after studying these 8 modules to tackle real engineering problems, and he was his outcome was commended by the engineering firm we are collaborating with. Hopefully, we'll see some more students in the following trimester continuing the work from where he left it. I've asked this particular student to put together a set of a slide which hopefully provides a very good breakdown of the skill sets required to successfully complete the project, but also successfully complete this program. He did a very good mapping here with some feedback from the supervisory team in terms of skill sets. What did he actually need to know? What he had to develop while being on the project? What sort of a brief description of that particular skill set, but also the relevant applied data science in engineering module that helped him to develop that sort of skill if he didn't have it up front. So we're talking about domain knowledge skills, so understanding of the asset, in his case, this particular complex blowers, data handling. This is something that is stressed during the software development for data science. So to be able to effectively handle big data using available resources, programming skills. Again, this is something that he had knowledge of, but this is something that he enhanced as part of the or studying on the data visualization module. Communication skills. Well, this is no brainer. It sort of have to be developed on the fly if you don't have very clear and well articulated communication skills. In terms of strategy, he had to come up with the best strategy to handle a given problem, the problem that and the challenge that was given to him by the company. But also he had to overcome a very steep learning curve while tackling probably the deployment of his particular solution developed in Python on a IoT industrial Internet of Things platform provided that the company was using, and that things works. So again, something that we don't necessarily teach, but what the student learned on the program was able to overcome that specific technical challenge. And as an overall aim, the proposed and the now approved and up and running MSc Applied Data Science and Engineering program is or aims to contextualize data science and data engineering to equip mechanical, electrical, control instrumentation engineers with skills to enable instrumentation, gathering of data, use of data, for provision of through-life engineering intelligence support solutions. So it's not just data analysis; it's data analysis with a purpose in order to provide services for customers who are using those assets in real life. At the same time, under this project example that I presented earlier on, is also aiming to supporting data analysts and computer science engineers to understand data in the context of systems and systems of systems. So very complex applications. And with this, thank you very much for your attention. Hopefully, this provides a good and detailed overview of the program. Happy to answer any other questions towards the end of this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Octavian. That was really interesting and informative. Thank you very much to our presenters for giving up your time this afternoon and telling us all about the programme and life at GCU. And thank you for everybody who's watching. If anybody has any questions, do feel free to email those in to us and we'll pick those up.